welcome to Silverline Silver Sunday, this January the 11th, 2026, and I was still trying to post to Twitter, and I didn't make it. So I'm gonna try to talk and post this. No, I'm not. I can't do that. We've established I can't multitask. Mike and I were just talking about that earlier. So I am your host. I am Roland, and I'm excited to be here. We're going to talk about the big lie. What big lie, you ask? Well, you have to be introduced to us first, and then we'll tell you what big lie. I am joined, of course, by the militantgazette.substack.com, Mr. Mike W. Belcher himself.
Otherwise known as that man the mask guy for a new year. Hi, everybody.
Mike and I are joined by the biggest liar himself, Mr. Tom Mason.
Hey, everybody. I'd like to know that in the thumbnails of our heads, I have the biggest head for some reason. There. That must be. I'm leaning in too close.
Yeah.
You're on a Mac, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. See, your Mac keyboard puts you closer, and see, I've got a separate. Here's my keyboard.
You're on a desktop.
I'm on a desktop.
Yeah. I'll lean back a little so I look normal.
And then you've got to type like this.
I'm like a special kaiju guest.
You're just gonna be able to recline. Just go back.
Yeah.
Well, what was the guest that had on that time that did this the whole time?
Oh. Yeah, it looked like they were on the front porch telling us a story about the old days.
Yeah,
they needed a pipe, didn't they?
Yeah, they did, and like an old bloodhound at their feet.
That was Jim Amish, wasn't it?
Was Jim?
I think
Jim
he was.
I
think he was going back and forth in a rock.
Well, it might have been him then. Yeah, I know he had the pipe.
He had definitely the pipe.
Because we'll poke a little fun at him. I heard why you're talking about this, and you're like, Jim, what are you saying? I can't understand exactly what you're saying, Jim. But Jim was a great guest. We're gonna have him on here again sometime.
He was a great guest, and also it's one of our most popular after the fact videos.
Yes, it is.
People love the Jim.
The Jim, join us to find out what it is. Okay, shared that.
Have you thought of the big lie yet, Roland?
No. The big lie. Oh, Tom, you said it earlier. The big lie is what? Who's not with us?
Is it Tom Sfordomati as part of the show? And he's obviously not.
He is nowhere to be seen. In fact, I should share these. He didn't tell me to share them, but I should share them just because he. Where's it at here? Let me see. Let me see if I can share them. For those of you who are wondering where Thomas Florimante is, where is it? He went to Disney World. He said, we're going to a last minute B-Day at Disney. I'm not going to make the show tonight. And then he sent pictures of him on a ride getting rained on. I should send that. You know what?
It's the Everest thing, isn't it?
Yeah. I don't know what that is, but it's
and you see where we rate. We were on the bottom rung of the Florimante priority list.
Here we go. There he is, right there. And look at him right here. Well, how do I zoom? Come on, zoom in. There we go. Look at him right there. Look at it. That's because you're not here, Tommy.
Is he having fun? It doesn't look like he's having fun.
So, he's probably still having fun. It looks like Renee is ducking there.
Yeah.
I guess I'm assuming that's Renee. She's ducking. Tommy's all, yeah, okay. So that's what happens, Tommy, when you don't come see. Oh, I did have it in a different layout, didn't I?
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, there we go. Since Tom's head is the biggest, we'll put you in the middle.
Now we look like the expert pundits.
That's right. So tell me, Roland. Tell me about the big lie.
So hold on. Before we get to the big lie, I thought I had it on that screen. Where is it? Before we get to the big lie, I have way too many tabs open and way too many screens open.
Are you a teenager?
I am not a teenager and haven't been a teenager for a long time.
Then close some tabs.
But let me go ahead and share this one as well. Share screen, window. We are still in the funding stage for Cray, and I got a message from my buddy. Said, "Hey, I want this," and it's not on there. So for those of you who want the whole thing, because there wasn't a tier that had the issues, the regular issues, the foil issues, and the graphic novel, I'm going to add that tonight. I'm just going to call it all of it because I don't know what else to call it, because we've got some completist here. So I'm just going to call all of it, and I'm probably going to put it right after the all exclusive covers here.
It's the most cray you could ever get.
The most cray. Wait, I might actually use that. The most cray. So anyway, so you guys, several. I'm also adding new original art tonight because we have. Let's see here. Can I show it? See, several of our pieces have gone here. This piece is sold. That piece sold. We've still got this one available, and Jose's pencils for number 4 is available, as well as Javier's. But we're going to add, where's the covers? We're going to add the pencils and inks for this one, which is Rob Davis pencils, and then Thomas Flormonti inks. We're going to add the inks for this one here, which is Thomas Flormonti inks. I thought I had one more. Did I have one more? No, that's 3 pages. That's 3 pages of original art. I guess that's it. So it has not been added yet, but it will be added after our stream tonight. So those of you who are looking to pick up some original art, keep your eyes open. We're going to end here about 9:15, something like that. So pop your head on over around 10 o'clock. I should have the original art plus the new tier up there if you're one of the ones who wants it all.
So that speaking of that Rob Davis cover, a lot of guys could draw really great barbarians, but Rob chose to actually do a horse.
Yes.
And he does a killer horse, which is
he does.
Which a lot of guys can't do anymore.
Right. Yeah.
And so, kudos.
Well, Tom, and you might have had this experience. I know that there have been times when when I'm talking to an artist, I'm like, hey, what do you like to draw? What do you want to draw? I have had more than one artist tell me, I don't mind. I'll draw anything. I just don't want to draw horses.
Right.
That's like, one artist who will remain nameless told me, he goes, I've drawn horses before and they just look like big dogs.
Yes. It's a separate skill almost.
It is. Yeah. Yeah. Which makes you wonder because, the 50s and maybe even into the 60s a little bit, we used to have a lot of Western comics.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You can't have a Western comics without a horse.
You had a lot of guys who drew those comics who were more or less professional illustrators as opposed to comic book artists.
Yeah.
And they became comic book artists, but they drew cars, they drew buildings, they drew horses, they drew that kind of stuff. They drew tanks and whatever. Yeah. And that most of the guys, and again, this isn't a knock on it, this is just the way things work out. A lot of the newer guys learn to draw comics by reading comics.
Yeah.
Not by going to,
art school.
And, so it's, you get a lot of that. Like, I just want to draw superheroes. I don't want to draw cars. I don't want to draw hats. I don't want to draw horses.
Just give me muscle magazines and swimsuit magazines.
That's right.
And that's all I'm going to draw.
I'm gonna have characters fight each other and pose, and then I'm gonna sell all the original art.
That's right.
And that's it. That's the world we live in now.
Yes, it is.
Because you can look. I looked at somebody keeps posting the Gil Kane covers from the 70s that he did for Marvel's Western reprint stuff.
Yeah.
Man, that stuff is beautiful.
Yeah. Andy Smith posts a lot of covers too. And I just, I follow him just to see all the covers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That stuff's great.
Yeah. I love to see those, and the thing about it is sometimes I see the covers and I'm like, oh man, I remember that cover. I didn't realize he did that,
And I look at those old covers and I think I'd still buy that. Just for the cover.
Yeah. Yep. During that whole period of time, Dick Ayers, I would buy anything if somebody would draw like Dick Ayers. I mean,
he drew good horses too.
I was going to say that's the reason I thought about it. One of the best, Western horses and any kind of, original Ghost Rider.
Yeah. And then I kicked myself because I had an opportunity to buy some of those original covers, and I was too poor then, and of course now they're thousands of dollars.
Right. Yeah. And all you would have had to have done was, hawk a tooth back then, and you could have
Right.
you could have got it. It's like,
Well, heck, some of them were giving away art. I know that Eisner
know.
gave away tons of art. They
Right.
didn't even
It's
think
crazy,
about it
isn't
being valuable. They didn't even think about the value of this stuff. I mean, they were just
crazy.
giving it away.
Idiots.
oh wait, where's my sound bite? Oh, I was looking at a different screen here. We got a couple comments. Woody says, Woody became a YouTube member. Hey, all right, Woody. I don't know exactly what that means. Maybe it means that you followed us on YouTube. If so, thank you very much. Seo Kumi says, hello, Silverline family. What is up, Seo Kumi? Thanks for hanging out with us tonight. If you got any questions, feel free to post them. We'll do our very best to answer them before we get to the big lie, of course. And then Pop says, hey, yo, what's up, Pops? Thanks for hanging out with us always. Woody's it's interesting. His message. Can y'all see his message on the side? It's highlighted in green for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a different looking thing on the screen.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think it just means you got a YouTube account, so now you can follow us directly on YouTube.
That's good. I appreciate that. We're okay. Let me go back to let me.
But I might be lying.
Here we go.
We call those people stupid, though.
There we go. Okay, I'm queued up now. So other than the crowdfunder and Tommy not being here, anybody have any news? Any news? Anything happened? And
it's too early. It's too early in the year.
It's only the 11th, so yeah. All right. Well, tonight's topic. Let's get right to it. Tonight's topic is the big lie, and what big lie? Oh shoot!
What's the big lie, Roland? Please tell us.
Yeah, I had it pulled up once again.
Make something up then.
No. I'm not going to make it up because this was too good. All right, so the big lie. Here we go. This is a good one. This is great for comics. Okay, the big lie is the idea that making movies from comics is more profitable than just having a strong backlist. That is the big lie. Unless you somehow become a producer and get $1 participation on a project that becomes an international blockbuster, it ain't that easy. And so I think a lot of what we see in comics today, you guys correct me if you think I'm wrong, is we see a lot of people get into comics, not for the reasons that we got into comics because we love them. We got them. We see them getting into comics for the idea that, I'm going to take this comic and then I'm going to go make a movie. I'm going to sell it to Netflix. I'm going to sell it to Amazon. And then I'm going to suddenly become a millionaire.
That's right. I'm going to have the money.
That's right. Yeah. And, there's always examples of it, of course. People will point to Walking Dead, right? Yes. Certainly that worked for Kirkman, right? Our buddy, the Malibu comic, our buddy
Lowell
Cunningham, thank you. Fantastic job with Men in Black, right? But those are just, I'm sure we can find more examples, but those are just two examples out of the hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of comics published.
Yes.
So Bulletproof Monk, R.A. Jones.
That's right. Yeah. Does anybody know how what kind of deal he got? I don't know what kind of deal R.A. got. I never hear him really talking much about it. Do we know? Did he get a good deal?
I think I'm trying to remember because I knew the guys at Flypaper Press. That was Mark Panicia and Michael Yanover, who was their old Malibu guys.
Right. Yeah, I remember those guys.
And I think they had come up with the concept of Bulletproof Monk with the actor, and then RA scripted the comic about it so that it would look like the comic and would come from the movie, but they were actually working backwards. So I think RA Jones was work for hire on their concept.
Yeah, I was going to say they probably got the money because it's their concept.
Right. I think they had the actor attached with an idea that he wanted. I could be wrong, but I think the actor and the producers had the idea, like, how can we get this movie made with you starring in it? And then they just work backwards.
Yeah.
Okay. Did not know that. Interesting.
Yeah.
So I don't think RA got big movie star pool money.
Yeah. He got work for hire money.
Yeah. Which
is not bad money.
Not bad at all. It's
But
the same
it's
as
not-
licensing money.
Yeah. Yeah. So I guess my first question, and if you guys have ideas, jump in, because we've got a long time to talk about this. I guess my first question becomes is where do we think this comes from? Where do we think the idea comes from that all you need to do is make a movie with your comic and your set, or that it's so easy to do? I think that's why we see so many people coming into comics. Oh, it's easy to do. We'll go make a comic and then we'll sell it, make it a movie. I mean, I see it a lot here on campus as well. You know, I'm not on campus right now, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, because if you are, campus sure has changed a lot since I was a
That's
kid.
right. Yeah.
I like your dorm, Roland.
Thank you.
Well, probably Eastman and Laird in the 80s, or
Yes.
it probably was the big, like, look what happened. I mean, it exploded. They went from a niche comic book that became a global. I mean, that's
Yeah.
In recent times, as far as what would probably prompted things.
And I think Mike is dead on. I think that's the one. It's always sort of been there as sort of an undercurrent of they'll make movies about stuff, but the early comics in the direct market, like Cerebus and ElfQuest and all, they were not moving forward. And Bone, even for a while, wasn't moving forward. And Eastman and Laird's Turtles was the one that really just burst out of the gate. There was the cartoon show. It was a hit comic book in the exploding direct market. Then it was the cartoon show. Then it was the toys. And then Eastman and Laird were doing other stuff. And there was a lot of talk about the money. And and then I think one of the pair of them sold out his half and just walked away. He was rich and that was it. And which is what I would do.
Yeah.
And
me too.
I mean, look at the examples they gave. I mean, they went off and it made so much money, and then Eastman went off with Tundra.
Yeah,
and he was just giving money away. I mean, he was just telling people, "Come and we'll make your comic, and we'll do anything you want. Here's tons of money."
I don't know if either of you remember, but the Scuttlebutt, and this is Scuttlebutt, so it wasn't. I didn't get this directly from Eastman. Was that he was doing Tundra because he needed tax write-offs. He was making so much money, he needed
to lose some.
Yeah, he needed to lose some. And so, the way I looked at it is like, hey, what better way to do it is put money back into the industry.
Right.
I thought it was, whether it was, assuming it was true, I thought it was fantastic. It was a fantastic thing for him to do.
I think they started the Zurich grant program as
well.
They started
Zurich,
They would give creators money every year to finish their own independent comic, which again,
shame that's not around anymore.
But they put, for a time they had money and they put that money back into the industry.
Yeah.
When they could have easily just bought Office Max or something.
Right.
And so I think it's.
And Tundra gave us Mike Allred and Madman. I mean,
that's right.
The benefits of what they were able to do with having that excess money.
Wait,
to be able to give away.
Was Madman at Tundra first?
Yes.
Well, you know what? I didn't realize that.
Yeah, it was there for 2 miniseries before it moved to Dark Horse. That's where I discovered it was Tundra. I mean, like I said, Tundra. Now the sad thing about it, I can't think of any other Tundra titles, mind you. But that's the one I think about when I think of Tundra.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think Mike is correct. It goes back to that Turtles thing, which is it's the same kind of thing you hear from people who play the lottery, which is this person, these guys won big, so therefore the opportunity to win big exists. I should play that lottery.
Yeah.
And so and you forget, of course, that the odds of winning the lottery are like 1 in 10 billion every Saturday night or whatever. And you forget that the odds of having a comic book do Turtles magic is, another 1 in 10 billion.
Well, so let's look at it from sort of like the creative aspect of it. Is that the cartoon Turtles was not the same content as the black and white comic. The black and white comic was it was, I don't know that it was a mature title, but it was certainly not for kids.
Yeah. So what happens is that the Turtles then separates into 2 different properties, basically called Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. One is the comic book, which is more mature. And then there's that Turtles universe of the animated series, the CGI live action movies, and the toys, which are separate from the comic.
All kid friendly, super
like a different
kid
world. The money, I mean, the money still goes back in the same funnel,
right?
But it's basically two different worlds.
Yeah. I mean, how many times have you ever heard anyone in like the recent years say, "Oh, I just recently read the original Turtles, and wow, that's not for kids at all, is it?" I mean, they're shocked and surprised because they're used to the cartoons and how how kid friendly those are.
But I would go out on a limb and say that so even the Turtles comics that are done by IDW now more closely resemble the media Turtles as opposed to the comic book Turtles.
Yeah.
And so the comic book Turtles sort of have ceased to exist.
Yes. Yeah.
And now they've just become the media Turtles, which is, I mean, it's fine. It's just the way things work. And, the money pours in, but if you're a stickler for, the original creation, you're sort of SOL.
There's definitely nothing out there. I mean, and even the mass media Turtles have had so many incarnations just over the last 10 years.
Yeah.
Because it's owned by Paramount now. Laird had it, and then Laird, I guess, got to a point. It's like, I've steered this boat long enough, so he sold it to Paramount. And since it's in with Paramount, I don't know how many versions that it's gone through. You just can't keep up with it because I guess the short attention span of the world now, you constantly have to reinvent it.
And that's the thing too. You need a corporation. If you want to keep your thing going, you need a corporation of some kind to sort of take it over. Because at some point it's like there's so many things to do that all you're doing is paperwork in business, and you might as well just sit back and let them make as many Turtles things as you can, and just have them send you the money so that you can use your money to live the life that you want.
Yeah.
And I think it's weird that the Turtles guys didn't do a second thing.
It is, isn't it?
It's probably hard creatively when something is that huge to go, I've got another huge idea.
Well, I mean, think about this. So the Turtle guys didn't do a second thing. Lowell, as much as we love him, he didn't do a second thing, right? Just Men in Black. So
Dave Sim didn't do a second thing.
Dave Sim didn't do a second thing. Yeah. So
he's done weird niche things since.
Right. Yeah. He's pursued his muse.
Yeah, well, and so let's go to Jeff Smith. Jeff Smith has done other stuff, but they haven't caught on like Bone did, right? But he's doing them.
He's doing them, and they're still good. They're still successful, and they're different from each other. Like if you love Bone and you're going into Raw, whatever it's called,
Wrestle. There was Wrestle.
If you're going into Wrestle thinking, oh, I want that Bone thing again, it's like no, it's different. But it's still from the head of in the pen of Jeff Smith.
Yeah,
and he's still. I mean, he's still. I think he's a major storytelling power.
Oh yeah,
I think so too. Yeah,
and he wanted to do his own cartoon series with him producing Bone.
Right.
I would have loved to see that.
Which is really if you can pull that off, that's the way to go.
Yeah.
But a lot of independent comic guys aren't going to. First of all, they're not going to sell their comic to Netflix or Paramount or whomever, and they're not going to get to run the show and call the shots.
No.
So, all right. So let's. All right. So the Turtles, right? So I remember in San Diego. So San Diego Comic Con. So I kind of quit going in the '90s after.
Fool.
Yeah, I know. After it was all the after it all hit the fan.
Right.
But we all know the stories of. I guess I can't remember which Marvel movie it was, or it might have not even been Marvel, but I remember hearing that Hollywood was descending upon San Diego Comic Con, and for several years there in a row, we were hearing stories of this book got optioned. They were all indie books, right? Hollywood was going down there seeking out these indie books, and they were giving out money to get the options for these indie books.
Yes.
It's. I mean, how many of them went anywhere?
Almost none. So here's what happens is that, and I can't say this is specific in all cases, but this certainly happens, is that because San Diego is so close to Los Angeles, the trip down for young development executives at studios and production companies, it becomes a business expense.
Yeah,
you can go down there and you can pick you justify your job to your boss by coming down to Comic-Con finding like 5 or 6 properties that you think that you take back to the office, and you sort of pitch them around to your boss and see if he likes any of them, and then you option them. But the option money, it's $3,000 to $5,000. In terms of big money movie making, it's not that much.
Yeah.
And they all have development slush funds. And sometimes it's just, this is a really good book. I don't want to make it, but I don't want somebody else to make it and embarrass me. So I'm going to give $3,000 to Jerry over there to shut him up for a year and take it off the market. So you can do that. And then that's what happens. And then that stuff just never gets made.
Yeah.
And some stuff that you think should get made. So there's some stuff that I heard about this. I was really excited about. Oh, this would be great. I'd love to see this as a movie or an animated feature or a TV show or whatever. And it just never happens.
Mm-mm. Yeah.
But it's a good buzz or a buzz headline in the comic in trades. So and so's been optioned by so and so, and it's a little news item, and then that just clamors people. Oh, I can do that too, or
But the thing is, it never drives the sales. Like that option, the option money never pushes the sales up.
Yeah, you never get anywhere. I mean, you look at Matt Wagner with Mage and Grendel, optioned many times.
Yes.
Terry Moore, same way with Strangers in Paradise, optioned many times.
Yeah.
And you hear news, they're close to making an HBO Strangers in Paradise, and then nothing. You don't. It just goes.
They're never close. They're never close.
It never gets close. So and so's producing it. So and so's really interested. Hey, going back to Madman, Robert Rodriguez said for his last 20 years, all I've heard is Robert Rodriguez loves Madman and Mike already. He would love to make, but I'm not seeing it yet.
Right.
You know,
and some of that is because they can't find the money.
No.
Because Robert Rodriguez isn't going to put his own money into it. He's got to go to a studio and say, I want to do this. And the studio's got to say, okay, I will give you some money. And sometimes the studio just doesn't want to do it.
Yeah. They look at the comic book and go, no, we don't think so.
Yeah, because I will say this, as much as I love Allred and as much as I like Madman, it's a difficult pitch for a Hollywood producer to look at and go, oh, this is Avengers. I can.
I'm sure dealing with Allred is probably not easy either. So you've got that. But yeah, I mean, you hear all these stories, and then you think about, it's like Eric Larson with Savage Dragon. He got that cartoon in the 90s. He could have cared less what it turned out to be. He just wanted the money.
Right.
And so you get these guys that got these short-term, successes, quote unquote, out of the gate, and they're gone.
Yeah. I think and the thing is though, that every time you think that stuff is dead, there's another one that comes along, like Mignola's Hellboy.
Oh
right, yeah.
It gets, I think it's 3 movies or 4 movies now. So every time somebody says, "Oh, it's never going to happen to you, kid," there's another guy that comes along and wins that lottery.
Yeah.
And so I don't know where. I don't know where we go now, because the comics that people are making specifically thinking that it's going to be a Netflix show are genuinely not the kind of comics that I'm interested in.
Well,
they're just.
So let's shift to that then, Tom. So are we more interested in the comics that are made as comics or comics that are made as TV pitches? And can you tell when you read them?
I think you can tell. So my difference is this. It's like when I read Man in the Mask, I think, oh, this could be a good movie or a good TV show. But I don't think, oh, Mike made this to sell.
Right.
No.
That's to me, it's
Mike
too
made
separate.
this because this is a story he wants to tell.
Right. And this is Mike. Like this is Mike's head.
Yes.
Mike didn't sit down in like a crass way and said, I want to make something to sell to Hollywood.
Right.
But I've talked to creators and I've seen the comics where you can just sort of tell this is for Hollywood. This is what you're doing. And I'm not saying that's a good thing or a bad thing. It just it is the way people create. I much prefer people who create their comic books thinking this is the thing in my head that I have to get down. If it interests the Hollywood people, fine. So that's great. But otherwise, I'm still going to make my thing.
So true story, and I'm not going to mention his name because he's a good guy and I like him. But there's a guy who goes to Nope. There's a guy who goes to San Diego every year. And if you go by his table, he's going to have something new for you. One or two things, right? I say he goes every year. I think he goes every year. But if you look at his table, right? If you say, hey, I'm going to buy everything that's here The only thing you're going to get are first issues.
Right.
Because he's doing them all as Hollywood pitches. He never finishes the story, right? He only does the first issue because the idea is, hey, I'm going to do this first issue because here's my concept. And I want somebody to take it and go buy it and give me Hollywood money. All of them. They're all number one issue. Again, some of them are good.
That's not a comic book person to me.
No. That's taking the cheapness of comics, of being able to do unlimited special effects with coloring and showing somebody. It's storyboards. They're storyboards.
Because that's the thing, is that comics have a real, I mean, they're still expensive, but they're a fairly cheap entry into the visual presentation of your movie. So
point to that. All right. So when I first started here at where I teach, 2011. Okay, I was talking, and I won't mention his name just because I don't feel it appropriate.
Was it Hubert?
No. But I had talked with a guy. You all know him. Everyone would know him, right? Everyone would know his name. I had talked with him, and basically, he wasn't doing comics, still not doing comics. And I said, man, you should draw some comics. And he's like, yeah. He goes, I just want to focus on these other things now. And we talked and talked and talked. This is over a period of weeks and weeks and weeks. And so finally he said, all right, here's the deal. I'll do a comic book with you on, it was a 2 or 3 conditions. So 3 conditions. Maybe it's just 2. Number 1, you can come up with a story that I like. And number 2, you can get someone to pay me my page rate. So I spent the next couple of weeks pitching him stories and trying to give him up with stuff that he liked. Finally got a story that he liked. He goes, okay, I like this. I'll draw this if you can find someone to pay me my page rate. Pitched it around to pretty much everyone we know, Tom, all the publishers, even folks at Marvel and DC, which I knew wouldn't go anywhere. No one, people would say, oh, I really like this art, but I can't pay that page rate. Right. And so in a faculty meeting here, I'd only been here a few months, and talking about it, kind of moaning and whining a little bit. I'm having problems. Blah, blah, blah.
As you do.
As I do, right? And they're like, well, how much do you need? I said, well, the whole thing would probably, if we did it as a graphic novel or multiple issues, it'd probably take about $30,000, something like that. They laughed. They said, that's our catering budget.
Right. Yeah.
That right then, and I always knew it, but that right then is when I realized we are not playing in the same financial ballpark.
No.
And comic book people, again, I'm guilty of it some as well, just continue not to realize that we are not playing in the same financial ballpark as television and film.
That's why you
catering budget.
That's why you need an agent and a lawyer, or one or the other, or both, to guide you into that minefield. Because if you're not careful, because the other thing is that, well, I'll just say it and we'll let the chips fall where they may. A lot of people are stupid in the way that show business works.
Yeah. And
show business, it works to the way that the creator, us 3 and everybody else, we're basically in the way.
Yes.
And so the more they can do to either contractually write us out, or pay us a little bit of money to go away, or promise us that, kid, your name is going to be up on the screen. That's going to be worth something to you.
Yeah.
The more they can trick you into walking away, the better it is for them, and the worse it is for you. And that's why you always need somebody, particularly an angry person, who can fight for you. You find a good angry person, and that's really all you need. That way you can just say, go ahead.
I just want to say, that's the thing about it. It's a minefield that a lot of us don't navigate. We don't understand the way it works. I mean, as far as what is the right way, what is the, quote unquote, the way you get to the point. How do you get there?
And
how do you understand it?
And a lot of people don't understand what it is they really want.
Right.
And what opportunity is available to them. Like, what can I get? Where's the menu of things I actually really can get from this deal?
Right.
And that's why the angry person is your best.
Yeah.
A lot of creators, want to make all the decisions and make all the money.
Right.
And it's generally not going to work that way.
See, I've never,
unfortunately, but
I never wanted to be it. It would be great to be in the position where, oh yeah, I can make all the decisions. I do not want to make all the decisions. I do not want to be on the set. I don't want to be in the middle of the production meetings. I don't want to be arguing with people about what my characters would or wouldn't say. I would rather take, and again, I'm not comparing myself to him, only his approach that I like is Elmore Leonard.
Yeah.
Which is, you can make them, here's the money that I want from you, and here's the titles that I want from you that also pay money, and here's the thing I want to put the picture from the movie on the reissue of my book.
Yeah.
And you go make the movie and leave me alone because I'm going to write another book.
Yeah.
The book money for him was the guarantee, and it was his story, his way.
Right.
Whereas the movie was just really money.
Right.
That helps sell the books.
Yeah.
And that's, if I could get to that position,
right. Yeah.
Then, I don't really care if the movie's good or bad.
Yeah. The only other thing I might add is, hey, let me come on set and watch. I'll stay out of the way, but let me watch a day or two.
I got to tell you, it's really tedious to be on set and not have a job. It's really, it's like, you end up eating a lot.
Well, I was there for some of the hard case stuff, which I know is not the equivalent of
still
the
tedious
big stuff. Yeah. It was like, boy, we were around a whole day and we got 2 minutes of film in. It's like,
it's terrible.
Okay.
Because you're waiting. You have to set up. You have to rearrange things. You have to move cameras around. You have to move lights around. It's tedious.
But yeah.
Now, if you don't have a job on a set, there's no point being there.
You'd be like one of those commercials. Shoot, is it State Farm? So that you don't have to become your parents.
Right. Yeah. I think I would if they send me the call sheet, which gives you the time all the actors have to be there and which scenes they're shooting for the day and when they break for lunch, I would show up at lunchtime. And then I would sit around with the actors and the producers and the production people
during lunch.
Yeah. And we would hang out, have a great time, and then I would scoot.
And then go home, yeah.
And then I would think, how's the movie going, Tom? Oh my God, you wouldn't believe it.
It's going great.
We had steak today.
They served spaghetti.
Yeah.
And everyone wore bibs. It was amazing.
Fantastic. I sat with a cowboy, 2 train conductors, and
yeah.
No, so we've lost the thread, though, I fear.
No. We're still kind of on it. The idea that making movies from comics is more profitable than just having a strong backlist. One of the things, I have some writing buddies that kind of went away from comics and went strictly to novels. Right. And one of the things that we talk about a little bit is you see independent novelists, writers, and you kind of look at the one, and this is kind of my take on it. So you guys, say, hey, we're only wrong, or no, that's right. The ones that seem to be successful have a strong backlist. The ones that seem to be successful, it's not that they go out there and they sell 1 million copies of their one book. What they do is they go out there and they sell a bunch of copies of their one book. And what happens is that people say, hey, I like this book. Let me go to Amazon and see what else look, there's 20 other books here. Which one has a title that sounds interesting to me? Let me order that book as well. So they've got a strong backlist.
Also, what you can do is that if you have like 10 books in a series, Amazon and you can sometimes work together to lower the price on your first one to 99 cents.
Yeah.
And then that becomes your sampler.
That's the drug.
And then the drug. That's your first taste of the heroin.
That's right.
And then you pay the full price for the second, third, fourth, and fifth. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I think I think comics are a little bit that way. That's one of the things that we talked about, a couple of years ago when we started talking about Silverline, is that it would be hard if it was cat and mouse only.
Right.
It's either that or it's nothing, right? So
but that's because you're a publisher,
right.
And so you have an imprint and you have a line of books.
Yes. But if we only had 2 books, right? If we only had 2 or 3 books, that would be tougher, I think, than trying to get a backlist. One of the things I do a lot is like I look back at Malibu, and I know Malibu acquired some of the backstock,
Right.
through buying the other companies. But you look at it, and you and I've talked about this. I think we talked about it live here as well. Is that one of the things I always thought was cool at San Diego Comic-Con was the Malibu booth, right?
Right.
It was a whole island, but it was split in half. And one side was the retail side that had all of the back issues, and there were a bunch of them. And then the other side was the more creator promotional signing autographs kind of side. And I always thought that was cool.
Well, it was also survival too, because the money made from those back issues paid for the booth and the hotel rooms, and also a lot of retailers weren't carrying stuff line wide, and so fans weren't seeing that stuff. So for many fans who show up in San Diego, it was the only chance they had to see some of those books or fill in a gap in what they were collecting.
Yeah.
So I'm a go big or go home guy. Mm. So the bigger the booth got, and the more stuff you sell, and the more stuff you could give away, and the more stuff you have, and the more money you spend, like I'm all in on that, because when I was doing it for real, it was corporate money.
Right.
So I could do those things.
Yeah.
But as an individual creator, you can't do those things.
No, you can't print a billion tattoos and give them away.
But what you can do, and I see, and Mike, you better jump in here before I put my foot in my mouth, is that you break your stuff up, and if you're an individual creator, you break your stuff up into miniseries that you collect into trades.
Yep.
And that way you have different products.
Yes.
You diversify your product line, but it's like, okay, here's my first issue, but I also have the trade of the previous series, and that way you can, you can hook a person.
Yeah.
And you're building up your backlist
issues.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, what, Mike?
For specialty issues, like, I've got 2 Halloween specials.
Right.
Where, once a year I can get those out, and here's something I only have out once a year.
Which is friggin' genius, by the way. That's awesome.
Yeah. And I think too, you go into the trades because there is that movement, that shift in buying, that even though we talked about this a few weeks ago, even though they're like, hey, comics are really healthy, we still haven't seen the receipts. Right. I still think the shift is to graphic novels and not the floppies. So you still have the floppies out there, but you also have the graphic novels for those who want the complete story right then and there.
Well, and I think the newer kids who are coming into the business are more they're more spine oriented than they are floppy oriented.
They're more spine than bag and board.
Right. Yeah. And bag and board is the old school way now, and I mean people still do it, but it's not like it once was.
Yeah. I mean, if you get spines, right, you can put them on your bookshelf.
Right.
Right. And they look good on your bookshelf.
Oh, yeah. They
do.
And I think a lot of indie creators work towards that.
Yes. Yeah. I think so too.
It's the next step.
Yeah.
Well, that was one of Dave Sims' early, telling everybody, keep your books in print.
Yeah.
Have them available. Somebody can order them. Don't ever leave them. If you're doing something continuing, make sure people have access to them.
That's the thing. When Marvel was run by that stupid guy Ike, and he wasn't overprinting Marvel titles. He wasn't overprinting their hot books, and he wasn't keeping the graphic novels in print anymore, and he wasn't going back for second printings to satisfy demand because he was a cheap ass. Mm-hmm. But that eventually bites you because you don't have a backlist anymore, and you don't have stuff.
Yeah.
DC, I think it was Levitz who initiated this. They kept the Vertigo stuff, Sandman and Preacher and all that stuff in print constantly. As soon as it went out, Watchmen 2, Dark Knight Returns, Batman Year One, that stuff stays in. I mean, as soon as they get down to like 100 titles or 100 copies, they're back to press again.
Yeah.
I mean, again, they have corporate money and they can warehouse stuff, and it's no big deal. You just pull the trigger.
Right.
Because that stuff is going to sell. But they're smart enough to know to do that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, if I had corporate money in a warehouse space, that's exactly what I would do.
All I need is corporate money in office and warehouse space.
All I need,
Yeah.
all I need is corporate
All I
money.
need.
That's right.
All I need. Give me a sweet taste of corporate money again.
Yeah. Let's see. David A. Gutierrez, what is up, David? Good to see you here this evening. He said, could Marvel and DC survive if they move towards releasing graphic novels at regular intervals instead of monthlies? For example, 2 Uncanny X-Men trades a year, etc.
No.
That's an interesting question. No. Tom says no. Why you say no? I agree with you, but why you say no?
It's not enough money to keep the retail stores in business.
Yeah.
Okay, hold on. Time out. Hold on.
Yes.
David asked, though, could Marvel and DC survive? Not could retail stores survive?
Oh, I'd say Marvel and DC cannot survive.
Okay. So
because Marvel and DC are still, the Marvel and DC audience is still heavily invested in the weekly reader.
Yeah. Even if they're just filming bags.
Right. And the periodical nature of the books.
Yeah.
And there's a lot to be said for the audience that still wants to go in and get their weekly fix of the comics, or their monthly Batman, or their monthly Detective, or their monthly Spider-Man, or whatever. Yeah. And that's that. Like we didn't go to the record store to buy a new Duran Duran album every Tuesday.
No.
But comic books are very different from that. And until that system changes, that's where we are.
Yeah.
It's better. And also DC and Marvel aren't going to innovate like that. Somebody else is going to do that.
Yeah.
And it's better that Marvel and DC sort of keep doing what they're doing, which is mini-series and regular series and collecting storylines and trades and that kind of thing. Because it feeds their system.
Yeah, they wouldn't have enough product in their catalogs to be able to just do graphic novels.
Right.
Because that's the other thing they have to do in bulk to be able to dominate.
Also, the other thing too, and this I think is critical, is that by having a system set up where they can do a 4-issue miniseries and then collect that miniseries in a trade, they've paid for it once and profited from it twice.
Yeah.
And that's the key to the corporate stuff.
Well, and of course, what we're seeing now is not necessarily just the miniseries; they're the story arcs, right? So you got an Amazing Spider-Man, but it's I don't know what number he's on now, but it's like 302, 302, 303, 304, 305. That's a story arc, but it's part of the regular series. But once that story is done, you collect those, and that becomes Kraven's Last Hunt. Whatever.
And that way, when you say I've missed the Clone Saga or whatever, here's 2 trades that have all the issues.
Yep. And you don't have to worry about if you can't afford the very pricey floppies, the back issues, you just buy the trade.
Right.
Yeah. I agree, but I also think there's the added without Marvel and DC, it creates a big hole in that in the industry that would be there now. And what's going to happen, right? You have to just look at what the distribution kerfluffle that we've had the last couple of years without the weekly shipments of Marvel and DC comics. Lunar doesn't exist. Of course, Diamond would have died a lot faster, but Lunar doesn't exist. Therefore, where was I going with that? Something's going to have to fill in the hole, right? And I don't know that independent comics could do that. I don't know that independent comics would do that because, as we've said before, I don't think people are going to the shops to buy the most recent issue of Cat and Mouse. They're going there to buy a Batman. Oh, look, there's this thing called Cat and Mouse. What is that? Right? They're picking that up because it's something they haven't seen before.
But
hopefully.
it's a harder sell.
Yes.
From the independent guys.
Everybody knows who Batman is. Everyone knows who Spider-Man is, right? But they don't know who the independent titles are.
And it used to be easier to sample things when stores had the money that they could afford to purchase titles that they needed to take a chance on or wanted to take a chance on.
Yeah.
And now they don't. They buy based on their orders, based on pre-orders, I guess. And so that again, that creates a hole that independent comics can't quite fill yet.
Right.
Well, and Marvel and DC are too busy trying to keep their IPs alive. I mean, the good majority of what they're putting out nowadays, when you see a new, let's say, iVampire from DC, it's because they need the trademark renewed. I mean, it's something. It's not because there's a clamoring for iVampire,
right?
Or any. It's like the Creature Commandos. The same reason. There's not until that cartoon or animation, there was not a clamor for Creature Commandos.
I would argue that DC and Marvel have always reissued stuff to keep the trademark alive, even before the blockbuster movie era.
I think so too. Yeah,
because
I mean that's why we got all the reprint stuff.
Well, that's why we got New Teen Titans from Marv and George. And so it's there was not a movie or TV show or anything about that then. It's just it was time to bring them back. Yeah. And so I don't know what this means for the rest of us, but it's a tough slog for the indie creator because there's a lot of great indie books out there.
Yes, and there is.
The only way but unfortunately, the success of other books in Hollywood, that just being optional, I don't necessarily made it to screen,
right?
But you have also a lot of indie publishers that only exist as IP farms.
Yes,
and usually they come crashing down. I mean, I think we can all agree what Scout was. I mean, I think essentially that's what Scout Comics was basically just to shop things to Hollywood. I don't believe there was anything there, and I don't blame anybody who tried to who published through Scout. I mean, a publisher is a publisher, but I believe that's the intent.
Selling the lie, right? Selling the big lie.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, if you think about it, right? If you're the creator and you're like, oh, hey, this is what Scout's going to go do. Pick me. I want Hollywood money. Right?
Yeah.
You could tell, and there was also I can't think of it. They came out in I think it was the 90s, early 2000s. They had done these sort of fantasy comics based on public domain stuff like Hercules and stuff like that. And then the Hercules comic became a movie with The Rock.
Oh, really?
But they existed because they were co-founded by a movie producer who had done some independent low-budget features. And they were clearly designed to produce a 4-issue run of a comic that was actually going to be a movie.
Yeah. I can't remember the name, but I know what you're talking about.
They went out. I mean, they last big noise, but they lasted about 2 years. Then all of a sudden, they're just gone.
Are you referring to Radical Comics?
Yes, that's who I think it is.
Yeah.
Guy's name was Barry somebody who was a Hollywood producer.
Interesting. Dave's got another question, but before we go to that next question, another thing I think is that I don't think graphic novels could move at the volume that the floppies move. Yes, floppies are the sales of floppies are way down. I get that. I understand that. I still don't think that the trades can move at the volume that the floppies can. And so I think that there's a big hole in income for Marvel and DC.
Well, and an indie creator can't do a standalone graphic novel. Unless you write and draw it yourself over the course of a year or so, you can't do it because it's way too expensive.
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
and you'd have to front a ton of money out of your own pocket to make that happen, and that's why floppies exist for independent creators, because I can still get my story out in dribs and drabs.
Well, listen, that's anyone who's been around for a while knows that's been the whole model of Silverline since the very, very beginning. Is that we told everyone right up front, hey, we're hopefully tell some good stories, but we're gonna work on miniseries with the idea of heading towards the trade. And we may have some of them that like Cat and Mouse, right? We've done one miniseries, we're gonna turn it into a trade. We're already working on Vipers, we're gonna turn it into a trade. That doesn't mean that that story is done, but we're working towards trades because we just can't go make the trade. We need the time to get there. So so Thomas Flormani said, sorry, I didn't make it. I'm cold, wet, and need to eat, so I can't jump on.
Shut up, Disneyland.
Yes. Yeah, go away, Disneyland. We talked about you at the beginning, so rewind and see it. All right, this I like David's question here. So David Escudero says, has anyone ever tried selling floppies like album singles? The full story is saved for a graphic novel, but just a couple of installments available as a set of floppies. So I haven't answered that while you guys think. we already mentioned Scout. So
Right.
Scout did something, and I don't remember. They had a name for it. They sold the first issue and the first issue only, and then they went directly to trade. That pissed retailers off. It made a lot of retailers, because they're like, hey, I bought issue number 1. Where's the 2, 3, and 4, right? And so it made a lot of retailers really mad. I don't remember what the name of that program was, but I remember Scout did something like that. It was I can't remember the name.
I think it's I think it's not David's question. David's question is fine, but
good question, yeah.
But the idea of doing it the Scout way is a stupid idea.
Yeah.
Because the industry the audience is still looking for 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yes.
And the people who buy 1, 2, 3, 4 might not want the trade, but they also may still want the trade. But you're not building an audience if you only publish the first issue and then go right to trade. You haven't done anything really. You've just published one issue. And I think the financial cost, I think they did it because they didn't have the money. And that was the sort of a fallback thing where it's like, okay, let's not do
2, 3, 4
2, 3,
because
4.
we know the sales for 2, 3, and 4 go.
We're gonna dip. So let's not lose money printing those. Let's just go right to the trade. So I think it was a business decision based on the fact that they were going to lose money and they were trying to cut their losses.
Yeah.
But I think I'm sort of old fashioned this way, which is I want 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah.
Then I want the trade.
Yep.
And I want to build the audience, and I want, as it goes along, 1, 2, 3, 4. It's like I can't wait to get this in a trade. I really want this. So
Dave says, I'm still mad I never got my Exiles 5 and 6.
I had my proudest marketing achievement.
That was brilliant.
Well, the thing about doing one, doing it as a single and then turning it over to a graphic novel, you've already bought a quarter of the book. That would be my thing. It's like, at least if I do 4 issues and then offer a trade, well, the guys who bought the 4 issues, they've got the story, and if they want to trade, it's their pick. And if somebody's never seen the story, they've got to trade. But then you eliminate one section that I did buy number 1, thinking that I was going to buy the rest of these, but now you're telling me I've got to buy number 1 again inside this trade, to get the whole story.
Yes.
Right.
As a consumer, I would feel cheated. I would feel like, well, if you gave me a choice of one or the other, I would be fine with it. But the fact is, you kind of got me to buy number 1 twice, one in the collection and one separately. I'm not too fond of that. There's not much stress there.
Yeah, and like I said, it because I remember this happening. It made a lot of retailers mad, a lot of people mad, because they're like, that we don't want to do that, and that was not what I mean. I don't think Scout anticipated that there would be such blowback that they got.
Yeah, because you're at that point you're cutting the. I mean, the retailer's point is you're cutting the retailer out of 3 issues that they could have sold.
Yeah,
and we know how retailers are. They want to make some money.
Yes, they do.
Because they're in business.
Yeah, they're in business.
And so you've come up with a stupid idea to cut them out of the business.
So. Right. Yeah. And that's why a lot of them don't like, crowdfunders, because they feel like they're cut out.
Well, I think that's a stupid retro idea. They should grow up a little.
I tend to agree,
because
with that
the crowdfunding audience is different than the audience that comes to their store.
It is.
It's 2 different types of consumers.
And fortunately for us, we do have the Coliseum of Comics supports us regularly for our crowdfunders, and they get a batch of them. We put their logo on them, and they put them in their store. So those are unique to their store, and so we're fortunate to have them support us.
And I'll say it again because I like to piss people off. It's somebody at DC once told me in the DC marketing department. They said, if you give a retailer $10, he'll complain it's not 2 5s.
So Tommy said, he goes, I'm not sure if this is where y'all are going. I know a printer that prints a lot of number 1s where we know they're just shopping the book around.
Yes.
Tommy, I like it. I know a printer where we know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there are. We know Roland and I both know a producer in Hollywood who does that.
Yes, that's right.
Because they're not interested in comics. They're not interested in the direct market. They're not interested in growing an audience. They're just interested in having a comic book to show people who have money.
Yes.
Who want to invest in a movie.
So,
That's an entirely different thing.
And I think that's the problem, is that to me, people are looking for proof of concept, but having enough material out there is also the same thing. If you're, there's a reason that Michael Uslan wanted Batman.
Yes.
It had 40 years of history by the time that he optioned it.
Yes.
Right.
Because it showed that it had an audience. You could go ahead and print up one comic and show, hey, I'm going to shop this around, but there's nothing there. There's no audience. There's no whatever. But the reason that these Hollywood guys want these things, that's the reason Disney wanted Marvel. You have all these properties that have such a history of an audience, of such a readers. Like I said, just because you want to create a proof of concept, just because it's cheaper to show what you're intending, it doesn't mean anybody's going to buy it.
Right.
There's another thing at work too. Because Mike, I completely agree with you. But I was reading an interview with the Russo brothers, the guys who do all the big Marvel movies, and they're doing Avengers: Secret War for 2027. And again, this could all just be PR, but they're of the right age. They're at the age that when they were 9, 10, 11 years old, Secret Wars was their Star Wars.
Yep.
Yeah.
And when they got into a position of power and authority where they were making Marvel movies basically at the snap of their fingers, what do you want to do? Man, when we were 8, 9, and 10 years old, we loved that Secret Wars comic.
Yeah.
We want to do something with that. And so that's when movie people come at you like that, which is like, this is the comic book from my childhood that I've always wanted to do. Then that makes sense to me more so than the crassness of just printing up a comic book and showing it around.
Exactly. Yeah. You got, like I said, you have to show the audience. That's, again, you and it doesn't always translate. You think of all the failures that have gone out there, but at least some of those things had audiences. I think of, think about that Sable TV show in the 80s that Gene Simmons did. It lasted maybe 8 or 9 episodes and had almost nothing to do with the comic.
Well,
but Sable was on TV.
Also, the thing about one issue as a proof of concept is because I've been, I'm not going to drop any names, children, but I've been in show business meetings where the one comic book or one issue is not enough. They'll look at you and they'll say, well, this is fine. What's the story? What is this thing about? Your comic book is basically the first 5 minutes of a movie. Where's the other 95 minutes? Right. And so that's, as proof of concept, a mini series that tells a full story is your better value. So put your thinking caps on and basically break the story into the 4 parts.
Yeah. So true story. We were talking about the most recent cat and mouse story a couple years ago. Some people we met in Nashville, and I got to tell them the story, and I realized that's not an entire series. That's the pilot episode.
Right.
My mini series, right? My 4-issue mini series is the pilot episode.
Right.
That's not a whole season, right?
What do they do next Tuesday?
Right.
When we need another hour of story.
So I was just like, okay, well, we need more stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
And sometimes. Sorry, Ronald, go ahead.
No. I proof of concept was something I was trying to think of earlier, and Mike brought it up. You guys used it. That's, I think, what we see a lot of these people are thinking that, oh, my first issue of my comic is my proof of concept to go make my film.
No, it's proof that you have a good 5 minutes of screen time, and that's it. Like I looked right. I was looking at I was reading through Divinity again by Barb Kahlberg, and what she did is great because she set it up so that the main characters are on the run. They're headed towards a goal, but they're also being chased by somebody.
Right.
From that, you can see every episode going forward. And then her story in that first 4 issues, that sets up everybody. That sets up the villain. It sets up the heroes, sets up the good guys, the bad guys, and sets up the concept of the little girl,
right,
with the powers. And then it really, from that clear setup, it doesn't really matter what the next Tuesday episode is, because you can fit that template It could be vampires, it could be soldiers of fortune, it could be military people.
Yeah.
You can see the episodes play out, but you can also see it play out as a movie too. And so but you don't get that from Barb's book necessarily until you get the first 4 issues.
Right. Yeah.
Because she leads you along the way, and then she cleans it up and kills a ton of people.
Yeah.
So
yeah. So I didn't see this. Tommy added rather we see a lot of books. We see a lot of books and go, oh, they just plan on selling this off and trying to get a movie TV deal. Yeah.
And I don't think of those. Again, I know this makes me sound like one of those stupid gatekeepers that you hear on the internet, but I don't think, those people are free to do that. That's fine. Do whatever they want. However, they're not my kind of comic book people.
No.
And I'm not interested in those comics.
Yeah. I'm not a consumer of that kind of stuff.
Right.
I mean, I said, if something comes of it, great, but give me the story, give me what I want to read, and heck, make me want to see this adapted.
Yes.
I don't tell me you want it adapted.
Right.
Show me why it should be adapted. I want to see this. I want to see this in live action or a cartoon. Give me something to go off of, because at the end of the day, the comic is the comic, the TV show is the TV show, the movie is the movie. It is what it is. I mean, but you still have to get, what is the audience of the comic, and then you'll get the other parts.
Right.
Yeah. Well, and what's frustrating to me is that because I do support a lot of crowdfunded books, what's frustrating to me is when I support one that looks good, they're not selling it like, hey, this is going to be my movie TV. This is like, here's my new comic book, and I go get it, and I'm like, yeah, and then I'm like, oh, this is the pitch for their TV show, and we never see the second issue. That I feel like you took me. You took me. You reeled me in, and you took me, and I don't feel good about you. I don't feel good about your thing, right? So
because you took me.
You took me. Yeah. I want you to make you sucker me. I want you to make this comic book. And if you go sell a TV show, more power to you. But I want you to make this comic book that you told me that you were making.
It's 2 things. One is I want to read something where I say, oh, yeah, I'd love to see this as a movie or TV show, like Mike just said. Also, I'd like to see the second issue.
Yeah.
So.
I'd like to see the second issue.
So good for you for wanting to turn it into a movie or TV show. That's great. I love you. Good luck to you. Now, I want a second issue. And
what happens next?
Right. Yeah, what happens next? Tell me. Because I just gave you some money, and now I'm unsatisfied, so I want the rest of the story.
Yeah, because if you don't know what's next, how does the people in Hollywood know what comes next?
That's right.
Oh, they have people. They'll just do it.
Yeah.
It'll be fine.
Tommy says, great ideas and thoughts. You guys are smart. Maybe I should skip a few more shows.
But we miss you, Tommy.
We do miss you, you little liar.
That's right. We need you on here so we can make clips. You talking about novels have words.
Right. I don't have time for words. I'm a picture person.
David Escudero says, if I see a celebrity name attached to a comic, I know this is just their project pitch.
He is correct.
He is absolutely correct. And as much as we, I can't name without naming the people. As much as we love Ross and Boom, when I saw Berserker, I knew exactly what it was.
Yes.
Right? It's like, you're not even disguising this. This is Keanu Reeves. He wants to make this movie.
Yeah. However, I forgive that because it is what it is. And Keanu Reeves,
they didn't disguise it.
Right.
That's what I liked about it. They didn't disguise it. They didn't trick me.
And having read the first graphic novel collection of that stuff, it delivers. So it delivers the goods.
Yeah. So and the art looks like Keanu.
Yeah. Well, and I think it got optioned, but also because the clear thing about that is that Boom is not an independent studio. Boom was at that point owned by 20th Century Fox, which of course is now owned by Disney.
Was it already at the point?
Yeah.
Okay. I was thinking,
and so it makes sense. It made sense for Keanu or any other actor to go with a company like Boom because that's a straight path into Fox, which is a straight path into Disney. Other than just printing one comic book and sitting at San Diego and waiting for Prime Video to drop.
junior associate to walk by and go, "Whoa, you got a comic?"
Yeah, because Keanu saw what I thought was a clear path, which is I'm in the business, and now I've got a way to get another John Wick type thing that's similar but different into a studio.
Yeah, but a lot of publishers are built like that. Dark Horse is built like that.
Yes.
You know, be honest. I mean, as revered as Dark Horse is, when you get a book, you know, published through them, the very first thing they do is throw it through their marketing to see if they can make a movie out of it.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just what it is.
That's why I don't think of those people as independents. I think of them, they're corporate comics.
They're corporate comics.
Yeah.
For good. I mean, for good about. I'm again not casting aspersions, not calling anybody names, just saying that's what they are.
That is what it is. Yeah. Yeah. And you know, for a while we had Legendary, you know, had a comic branch.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
You know, I don't think they're around anymore. I think the comic portion is not around.
I think the only true independent in those top 5 or 6 is Dynamite.
Yeah.
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 Nick Brucci's company.
Yeah. Fingers crossed he stays that way, right?
Yeah. He takes licenses. He doesn't give them. I mean.
Yeah. Yeah. David Escudero says also to defend Berserker, it is a saga, a lot of story to be mined. It's even a novel. I didn't know it was a novel.
Yeah.
Did Keanu write the novel as well?
No. He's an actor. He doesn't write.
Yeah, I know, but he's credited as the co-writer on the comic as Keanu and Kent. Was it Kind?
Oh, Matt Kind. Matt
Kind. Okay.
Yeah.
I know Garney was the artist. That's all.
Yeah,
I didn't
Ron Garney.
So.
Yeah,
Garney,
I reached out to Ronnie. I reached out to Ron a couple of times and to come on the show, and we haven't been able to make that final connection. Isn't
he a Florida guy?
Ron Garney? I don't think so.
Oh, okay, because I thought he used to work for Alisi at.
Did he really?
I thought so. I thought he went over there to work on.
He might have.
I don't know. I don't know
one of those funny Magic Gem books that they were doing.
Oh, this is news. David A. Scudero says Legendary is doing crowdfunding right now and trying to get Dune Part 2 out. You do mean the comic book, right?
Yeah, because Dune Part 2 is a movie's already out.
Yeah. That's what I was going to say. I think I've seen Part 2 of the movie.
Yeah. It's on the airplane right now.
Well, yeah, Legendary was doing, you know, I think, you know, Frank Miller did that Pandora, but I think it was a Netflix show before it was, I think he got the story out.
Didn't Bob Schreck go over to Legendary?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
But I don't know if he's still there or not.
I don't know the answer to that.
But the thing is that the Legendary thing doing their own crowdfunding is the thing that we talked about with Jimmy Palmiotti a couple months ago. Yes. Where it's like they shouldn't be doing that because they have corporate money and they have investment money and they don't need to sort of take over crowdfunding.
Right. That's like a bully coming into the pool.
So screw them.
Yeah, I agree.
But I do think some of them use it as kind of a litmus test. I think they try to see what kind of audience they have before they invest anything. I think the crowdfunding, I think that's the other thing. In addition to getting money for your project, you're seeing what the interest is. Because you know, when we had Steve Scott on a few months ago, I think he made a very good point about people who try to pitch comics to publishers. It's like, well, I did a crowdfunder. Well, how many backers did you get? Well, like 100 or so. Well, but you want me to print your book, and you know, if only 100 people wanted it.
Yeah.
What's the point of me picking up your book? You know, I think he made it was a very valid point.
Right.
So it's a good litmus test to see, you know, what kind of volume your audience would be.
But I don't think Legendary should be using it for a litmus test. I think
Scott
should
be
using
enough money,
right. Or also, you know, you say, hey, this is I've got this R-rated property I'm pitching to you. Oh, I realize that your company only does PG-13 books, but here's an R-rated property for you. Yeah, don't do that.
Corporations shouldn't be pissing in the crowdfunding pool.
I agree.
I agree.
Because they're corporations.
Yep.
Makes it hard for everybody else.
David says it's a graphic novel adaptation. Okay, yeah. Of Dune Part 2. Yeah, but
if they can't sell Dune Part 2 into graphic novel form
without crowdfunding, yeah. I mean,
I think they're just trying to recuperate their costs early on so that the rest of it is just gravy.
Yeah.
But still, screw them.
Yeah, I tend to agree with that.
And next week, I'm sure I'll have to apologize for saying that.
Nah.
I'd like to apologize in advance for our friends at Legendary. I didn't mean any disrespect.
Yeah.
If your feelings were hurt, I'm terribly sorry.
If your feelings were hurt, here's a lollipop.
That's right.
All right. So the big lie. What else? Did we cover everything in the big lie? You guys think?
Yeah, I think the summary of the whole thing is if you want to sell your comic to Hollywood, great. Don't expect a whole lot of money unless it goes something. But before you do, invest the time into the story.
Yeah.
Give the comic guy something first.
Yes.
Yeah.
If you're gonna use my industry to break into show business,
you're right though.
You should give me what I expect from a comic book.
Put the work in. Put the work in.
Yeah. Right.
Yes.
Because I will tell you, there is no greater loyal person than me if I discover your comic at a show or whatever, and I want it. And I want more, and I want to read it. And Roland will attest, I've grabbed him at shows and said, Roland, come over here, meet this creator, buy this book.
Yep.
That is the thing that makes me super happy, and I will support your work until you become a crazy person on the internet.
Yeah, absolutely. As I have said live on the stream, Tom has done that to me. Said, go check this out. Go buy this kind of stuff. Yeah.
And I will buy comics at shows where my friends are not attending, and I will mail it to my friends, and I will say, tell me what you should see this. You should see this.
What do you think?
Am I crazy, or is this a really good comic?
Yeah.
And so
David's got a suggestion for us here, Tom.
Yes.
He says every episode should begin and end with a list of Tom's apologies.
We're getting there. We're getting to that point, I think. I'll read it like a hostage video.
Yeah. All right. Anything else?
I would say no, but support independent comics. Look for
independent comics.
Look for creators who are working outside the mainstream, who are doing different and personal work.
Support independent comics and do this. Here's the other thing. Support independent comics and tell people about them.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah. Sure.
Because I don't need you to tell me about Batman. I already know. I don't need you to tell me about Superman. But what the heck is Man in the Mask? I've never heard of that. I need you to tell me about that.
I think you have. I think you've heard of it. He's right here. It's that guy's right there.
That guy right there.
Yeah.
I need you to tell me about the independent comics that you have read and liked and should be supported. Right. You liked Batman Year One. Great. So did I. So did a whole bunch of people. I don't need you to tell me about that. I need you to tell me about the independent comics that you have seen and read and enjoy, and you think other people should.
Also, because of the way the world is built now, it's never been easier to tell people stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Use all of your social media megaphones.
Right.
100%. Yeah.
Everything 100%. Is accessible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Except me. Don't bother me.
All right. On Tuesday, a panel of comic creators discuss how can you know it is the right time to stop working on a comic script or illustration? When should you say, I'd like to get in on this. When should you say it's good enough and submit it? Or when should you abandon a project to come back to it later? When to stop working on a comic? That is on Tuesday.
That is such a tough question.
Yeah. Don't kill your darling.
Oh, man.
Oh, man. Because I've written stuff and I thought, man, this stuff is great. And then I've set it aside and I go back to it a week later. Just a week later. And it's like, oh, man, what was I thinking?
What was I doing there?
Yeah,
right?
What
was I doing? Yeah. On Wednesday, casting call. The crew is going to cast the live version movies of 4 famous comic strips. This is on Wednesday Wham. Next
is it Calvin
week,
Knobs?
I don't know. It just says 4 famous comic strips. I'm not sure who they've chosen.
All right.
Next week, this is going to be a fun one. Next week, the good, the bad, and the logo. The logo to your comic can make or break a potential reader's first impression. We're going to take a look at a bunch of logos and critique them. So here's my call to all of you listening. Right, if you have a logo, a comic, right, a logo for a comic book that you want us to take a peek at, send it to me. Send me a PNG file, right, or JPEG. Don't send me a great big file, please. Just send me something I'm gonna cast up on the screen, and we'll look at getting it into the rotation. You guys too, y'all. I want y'all to dig up some some logos, right?
I know some terrible ones.
Oh, let's get them up there.
Well, I'm hesitant because some of them might be friends of mine.
Well, don't get your friends that you don't want to. Yeah,
I don't want to.
yeah.
I'll pick some old comics from the 80s.
Actually, I'm gonna pick one from a friend of ours,
Okay.
who happened to go to Disneyland today or Disney World today. Yes,
Ooh.
he knows. We've talked about it. But yeah, so we're gonna talk about logos because logos can make or break your comic, right?
And we have a professional letterer right here on the staff.
That's
so
right.
You'll be he knows what he speaks of.
And logos aren't just bad because of bad design. They can be bad for other reasons.
They can.
You'll have to see next week about what I've got to say about that.
Yes. So Mike, you cannot get sick next week. You got to be here. Here's the one thing I will say. Whenever I reach out to Mike for a logo, it is almost like he reads my mind. I am telling you, I don't, and I try to give him a little something to go on, so I don't just say I need a logo for here's the word, right? I'm looking for something like this. It's like he sees into my mind, and I'm like, oh man, that is even better than I imagined. So yeah, if you guys couldn't tell, I love Mike's logo. So he is available, by the way. Mike is available to design your logo as well. And
also letter your comic.
Exactly.
Yes, and also letter your comic. Yeah.
So don't be an idiot.
So yeah, you guys dig up logos. Don't, if you think it's going to upset a friend, don't do that. That's not the purpose of but if you don't think it'll bother them for us to critique it, bring them and we will talk about them. So that is next week here. Same silver time, same silver channel, right?
Same silver-haired foxes.
All right. Until next week, remember to
make mine Silverline.
Good night, everyone.
Hey, this is Paul Pelletier. Make mine Silverline. Is that okay, Roland?
Mm-hmm.